Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany and I am the creator of Cubby Stitches. Thank you for finding my channel, or thank you for returning to check out my channel and the beautiful things that I make and the things that I suggest on making. Wanted to take a little bit of time to stop by. Wasn't able to get a video uploaded last week. Very hectic, very busy, especially with Christmas this week. But there have been several things that have come across. A neighbor passed away a week ago last week, and so spending a lot of time with my neighbor. Beautiful woman, amazing woman, a lot of strength, and so we've taken some time to try to sit with her and be with her when she needs. And so with Christmas being 2 days ago, wanted to get everything done. Wasn't wrapping presents. I didn't wrap presents until Christmas Eve, until about 12:30, because I was stitching on one of the big pieces and was enjoying it. We had a fireplace, feet propped up, just amazing. Sometimes I'll put music on while my husband's watching sports, but it was an amazing Christmas. It was nice and quiet. Our son lives with us, so he enjoyed his gifts that he got. My husband bought me practical gifts, which is what I prefer if I get gifts, and I'm okay with not getting gifts. I prefer to give and not get. But I'm totally blessed and wanted to show you some of the projects that I'm working on, and I actually had a couple of finishes. One of the finish is a home sweet mortgaged home cross stitch picture that I think I showed the last video, but I wanted to show you some of the changes I had taken liberties with. And this is the dimension, and you can see home sweet mortgaged home. And one of the things you'll see in my piece, it's different, is this fencing. It's dollar signs, and I did not put that on my piece. And another thing is you can see like a little bit of a wiring kind of netting here on the pattern, and I did not include that as well. Another thing that I updated or changed is the dollar sign here. I thought that was a little bit too much, and I actually took that and changed that as well. This is the piece. It's not framed yet. I bought a frame for it, but it's kind of swallows it. But here you can see I did not include the fencing, and I did not include the netting up through here. And I also changed the dollar sign to our last initial, which is M. I think it just makes it look more clean and more precious, if you want to say. I'm looking forward to finding the frame or a frame for it. I bought a frame, but it has a kind of large border around the frame. It's like 2 inches, and it wasn't very flattering, so I will use it for something else. I won't use it for that. Another thing that I was able to finish, and I will include photos, is my mom's, or one of my mom's, bookcases for her quilting, or for her sewing room, I should say, craft room. And it was not in bad shape, but it just needed some love, some TLC. And so you can see the brown one, and then you can see the like a teal color. That's her favorite color. And you can see the contrast in the two, but I wanted to add some brightness to the craft room instead of the dull. Plus it needed a lot of sanding. So I sanded it and I primed it and got it painted up, and it actually turns out gorgeous. It has screws on the side that's keeping the bookcase together, of course. Just the paint, just even the screws makes it pop. And so that, I was so happy with that. We've already delivered it to her house, put it in her craft room, and I have 2 other bookcases that I want to do a different finish on, and it's just different finishes that I've seen over the years. And so in my creative, I'm like, you know what, let's try this, or let's try that, let's try this. If it doesn't go right the first time, I paint over it and then I try it all over again. That is the one thing that I do want to stress is about the craftiness, is I hope you find something that you're interested in, that you fall in love with, and that it's your passion. And cross stitch is my passion, crafting is my passion, and so I look forward to the time that I can just even if it's for 5 minutes, sit down, enjoy cross stitching, enjoy quilting, or something to that effect, I should say. The next thing that I want to show, and I've showed it in a couple of videos, it was without the template or the freehand drawing on it, is the placemats. I've taken all of them now, and I've put the wording in the center, and I want to machine quilt them. We'll see how that goes. I ordered the template foot to hide the feed dogs so they wouldn't catch the fabric, but it was the wrong plate. So I'm gonna do a different alternative today and see if I can get it to work that way. I did one placemat love in the middle, and let me show you that one. You can see love, Love. I hope you can see it. It's a little light, but Love here. And then I drew just freehand. I drew some hearts and I connected them. Like this one is connected this way. And then this one down here is connected. So I tried to connect all the hearts. And you can see the hearts on one side, on both sides. I don't know if you can see it with a dark fabric. But one of the placemats is love, the other one is faith, the other one is health, and the other one is life. So I've done pretty much the same thing with all of them, is the wording down the center here. The red will easily iron out. It's like a heat removal if you want. It's a quilting pen. It's called Frixon. And all I have to do is if I mess it up or don't like the lettering, I turn on my iron, I iron over it, and it disappears. And so I can do any design that I would like. But this is kind of getting me ready for the big antique quilt that I will be starting on. Wanted to show you these that I have the freehand in there, and I don't want to hand stitch these. I think it would look nice if I could machine stitch it or machine quilt it. So we're going to try that and see how that works. I can always take the stitching out if I don't like the machine stitching and do it hand stitching. I do not mind doing hand stitching. I enjoy it, obviously, especially doing cross stitch. Another project, kind of like a half project, but it's not a half project. A friend of mine, Susie, hi Susie, she makes 1,000-piece puzzles, or she assembles, I should say, 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles, and they are gorgeous. And so she had posted this one on Facebook, and I got in contact with her and asked her if I could purchase it from her because I think it will go beautifully in our house. And she was so sweet and she let me have it, and I could not believe it. She let me have it for free, and when I show you the puzzle, hopefully you will be as blown away as I was. But she even put it on foam core board, which is kind of like a mounting. Let me show you. Isn't that gorgeous? The old barn, you have the old tractor. It just makes you think of like at Grandma and Grandpa's house. You can see the old gas pump that's right here. You can see that it's not framed. That's why I say it's a project, but it's not a project. Because I was looking at, or I know for a fact from working part-time at Michael's and learning how to frame and finish my cross-stitch pictures and specialty mat cutting, and just, they didn't really assemble the frames. Sometimes they did, but usually the larger frames already came assembled. One day I was looking at them and I thought, you know what? I could do that. I was off and running. We have gotten wood making, I guess if you want to say wood making. We have several power tools that we use out in the garage for making benches or shelves or whatever. And my husband gives me free liberty to use any of them. Now I try to be safe, try to do all the safety features that I possibly can. I wanted to show you the pieces that I have cut out, or at least one of the pieces, and show how I was able to make it. And I can show you how I assemble it next week when I finish it. Just went to our local Home Depot. They had something there called barnwood. Now this is the barnwood, and you can see these beautiful edges. And it looks like something that you just would take off a barn. See the edges? I'll take a pen, a color pen, and color that in. But it just looks like off your grandparents' barn. When I purchased it, it's a 1 inch thick by 4 inches wide, and it was 8 feet long. What I did was our router, which will make V shapes or any kind of like decorative molding from just like a 2x4. And what I did was I took the router and I made a channel. You can see the little channel right here. I made a channel for the puzzle. That way it will sit just like a regular frame you get from the store. I made this a little bit thicker because the foam core in the puzzle was like a 1/2 inch. So I measured my depth and I was able to make this little channel here. Once I made the channel, I measured the top of the puzzle and I cut my frame, or a piece of the frame, this way. I measured from here to here and cut 45-degree angles on both ends for the dimension of the top. That's what I did with the rest of it, with the sides and the bottom. This is one leg of the frame. Isn't that gorgeous? It's going to look gorgeous. I showed my husband a picture of it. He says it's going to look gorgeous. And I ran out of material. Even though it was an 8-foot piece, I thought I would have enough. But once I cut the 45-degree dimensions here, having to change, it just wasn't enough. So I did go back and get another stick. One 8-foot stick of this was $9.98. So a frame, which will 52, 34, 90, say 90 inches perimeter will cost me about $12 to $15. $12 to $15 for the frame. I'm not going to put any glass in it, but at Michael's or for specialty framing shops, that would cost you easily $400 to $500. This was really easy to make. You don't have to have any special machinery. You can do it with a little saw if you want. I suggest in taking a chisel and marking on your board and taking a chisel and a hammer and whacking this if you don't have a router. There are other alternate ways of doing this other than with power tools. It may take you a little bit longer. For me to be able to do a frame this size in the piece of wood that I want it in and the color and stain it and whatever else I want to do to it, that to me is what I love to do. So I wanted to show this to you, especially like I said, just the antiquiness, if that's a word, which I don't think it is, but just the antique look with the picture, it's going to look fabulous. But that's one thing that I've been working on. And the final thing that I have been working on, and I would love to finish soon, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, say in a couple of weeks or anything, it is the gold collection. I'm sure I have showed numerous times this picture. It is a cross stitch picture, and the finished size is 12 by 14, and they have a brown frame around it. I have already found some molding that's got some vines that are intertwined, so I'll probably buy 2 sticks of that molding. I think it's maybe $10, $5 to $10. 2 sticks that'll cost me $20 for a frame. But I wanted to show you this. This pattern comes in 4 sections. So section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, and I've finished 2 and I'm working on the 3rd section right now. Let me show you that. I think the last time that I showed you, the flag had not been started yet. So here you can see that the flag has been started, or actually finished, and then I started some greenery here that goes down the side and show you. There will be waterfall down here, branches down here. So I'm on the 3rd page, and hopefully we'll get that done in the next couple of weeks, depending on my stitching schedule. If I have 5 minutes or if I have an hour or whatever it may be. These are a little bit harder to take with me someplace if I'm at the doctor's office or something. I try to take a smaller project to work on. Anytime I can sit down with this in front of the fireplace and put some headphones on or listen to music or whatever, that's what I try to do. With these, you can see these little boxes here or grids. This did not come on the fabric. I took the same Frixion pen, the heat for the placemats, that I can put steam on it and it disappears. I hope to show you in a video for that, but whoever decided to put grids on the fabric is a genius. I have spent decades of cross-stitching pictures this big without any kind of marking. I would take the pattern and I would highlight in yellow, sometimes in blue. That is how I was able to do the stitching or the counting, but the grid lines make it so much easier. And so I'm very, very grateful for whoever came up with that. It's awesome. So the section that I get to, I just grid it off. Now for me, I can see, if I look at it this way, I can see the grid lines in the flag and the white part of it. Like I said, when I take it and I wash it and I dry it, I take the steam and go over it, it will disappear. And I will be able to, or I will have to wash, because you can see this is oil for my hands as I was rolling the frame. Just sit my hands here or my elbow or whatever. But you can see there's just oil from your hands of natural oils, and it easily comes out. Soap and water, roll it up in a towel, squeeze it out real tight, and then that'll clear that up. If it doesn't come out, another suggestion that I have is, I think it was video 2. If you go back to that one, there is a solution or a stain removal solution that has hydrogen peroxide, dish detergent, dish soap, dish detergent, baking soda. If you take those 3 ingredients and then mix it up, put it in a spray bottle, you can easily spray on that as well, but make sure that you rinse it really well because sometimes the baking soda sticks. That's video 2 if you would like to check that out. If you have any stains, it's a natural remedy. It uses natural things instead of using any kind of harsh chemicals, so I would highly recommend that. So at this point in time, I think that is about all that I have, but I wanted to take a few minutes and let you know, or to encourage you to find a craft or something that you're passionate about and something that you love, because you will find out in finding something that you love and a passion that it will calm your mind, it will help your heart, and you'll be able to put on a podcast or some music. It just lets you take away, just sit there and relax. And that is my hope for everyone, is that you have or are looking for a passion. I would love for it to be cross stitch because I would love to see more cross stitchers. I thought that it was going away, but found a wonderful community on Flosstube, which is where this is coming from, of cross stitchers and quilters. And so that's been a lot of fun as well. I encourage you to get your creative side going. You may not think you have a creative side, but put some paint in your hands, put some yarn in your hands, put some thread in your hands, and whatever you make, it will be beautiful because you've made it and it is from the heart. I would like to thank you for stopping by today, and if you want to like the video, that would be awesome. You also can hit the subscribe button down below to come back for any videos that I have in the future, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week.